Hey everybody, I've been doing some big picture thinking about schools and our education system in the United States. And, I am always struck by students as we talk about these issues, race in the US or others. And people say, like, well, how do you solve this? These systems have been in place for so long and they've been continuing. Like, how do you fix a problem, especially from within a system that's inherently racist? And so I've been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking about like where I should be focusing my time and energy and what I hope to accomplish. And I kind of right now I've narrowed it down to 6 things that I think need to take place in order for our schools to truly be equitable and for us to start moving in the right direction. And I don't know if everything fits under these 6 things, but I think a lot of what I've processed and think about have. So the first one is we need to hire, support, and retain more staff of color. It's as simple as that. Our student population is increasingly more diverse, and our teaching population is increasingly more white. And that can't be. The holders of knowledge, those who are teaching children, those who children see themselves in, those who they see as the holders of wisdom and knowledge, and all of that can't just be white teachers. And so we need to do more to support people of color going into this field and, getting them hired and getting them supported while they're here and not running them out and not running them off, working them to the point where they have to leave for their own well-being. We need to do more on that end. And obviously that can be applied broadly to all teachers, but specifically to our staff of color, we're seeing more of them leave the profession than enter, and it's going to be detrimental as we move forward. So we got to tackle that. Second thing is I think anti-racist training should be mandatory for all teachers. I think it should be part of grad programs. I think it should be part of undergrad programs, and I think it should be part of the yearly training that all teachers undergo. And it's got to be authentic. It's got to be real. You got to have people who know what they're doing with this training, but I think it's definitely possible to get this as something that's mandatory for everybody to go through, and not something that it's like a one and done, but something that you're consistently building upon in your entire career and creating, affinity groups that you're able to hold yourself accountable for that moving forward. Decolonized curriculum, I've already talked about that. That's number 3. I think that we need to have a decolonized curriculum in all of our schools, and we need to get rid of a European colonial mindset of everything we do is right, and that's the way it's going to be done, and everything must be repeated that way, and bring in, more voices and more perspectives in our curriculum. And that's how we do math. That's how we do science. Definitely, of course, in social studies and literature, those are easier to change. So, but we got to get to that point. Next one would be we need to empower students, families, and communities to be part of the education process. There's been a major disconnect in the last decades of schools and the community and families, and we need to do more to authentically bring them into it. And it's tough, Greg, because it's cultural and it's a big picture, but there's definitely things that schools can do and teachers can do to be stepping in the right direction. Fifth is restorative justice. We have to get rid of punitive discipline in our schools, particularly all of the types of disciplines that disproportionately affect our young black and brown students, and particularly black and brown men. And so we need to implement systemic restorative justice, not piecemeal, not one teacher doing a circle every once in a while, but at every level we need to implement restorative justice. And we're seeing some momentum in different places where certain prosecutors are starting to do that with youth, and certain schools or individual teachers are doing it, but we really need to see holistically across it all. And then the final one is equitable funding. That's something that teachers can't control. It's something that voters control. And so, what are we doing to more equitably fund our schools? We can't continue to do it off of property taxes and see, here in Bellevue, us being able to provide all of our needs and wants for our students' education, and then go just 30 miles south and see that they can't even provide for the needs of students. That's got to change. We need to see an equitable funding model, and that's got to happen at a state level. And so you can advocate for it, you can fight for it, but that's going to be the biggest fight of the 6 probably. And so, those are the 6 things I'm thinking right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of package it and present it to people and see what we can do moving forward, because I think every educator, when they look at the totality of the disparities in our data, they don't want to continue to see that. But people don't always get in that action mode and see what they can do. So as I'm thinking big picture, those are the 6 things I'm focusing on. If you think I missed something or need to add something or refine something, I'm going to be refining as I go. So we'll see how it goes, but let me know if you think I'm missing something for sure. We'll see you next time.